What's up, y'all? We alive. We are live. Errol Spence Jr. has reportedly activated his rematch clause. Now, the fight should be at 154 because I believe Terence has the winner of that fight. The first fight had the rights to where the fight was going to take place at the weight, either 147 or 154. Now, Earl Spence prefers 154 because he said he can no longer make 147. Terence Crawford said in the press conference after the fight that he also had a little hard time making the weight, so maybe he'll do 154. So we got a rematch now. Now, let's talk about the rematch possibilities. Um, because of the first fight was so one sided, uh, Earl Spence wasn't able to implement or virtually do anything in the fight. Yeah, he landed some punches here and there, but he was unable to do the things that he do best as far as winning the jab contest, getting on the inside, going to the body, having this man on the ropes and going to work. He wasn't unable to do that. So I don't think, no, I believe there will be no difference because they're moving up in weight. They can fight at 54, they can fight at 60, they can fight at 68, they can fight at 75. It doesn't matter what weight they fight at. Terence Crawford is tailor made. I mean, Earl Spence is tailor made for Terence Crawford. Has been, has always been, has always been. And I've been saying this back 5 years ago. If you go on my archives and look at my boxing, channel, and you look at my videos even 3, 4, 5 years ago, I've been saying that Terence Crawford is going to beat Earl Spence, and it didn't change from when they got in the ring. Uh, Usually, when you have a rematch, the more intelligent, more talented fighter, the better fighter, wins the rematch easier than the first fight. You can go back to we can go back and look at what Floyd Mayweather versus not Maidana. The second fight was easier for Mayweather because he was in the ring with him. We can go Tyson Fury and Wilder if y'all want to go recent. Tyson Fury won the second fight by stoppage. It was easier because he was in the ring with him. When you fight a technician at the highest level, I'm talking about at the highest level, when a technician gets in the ring with you and sees you and sees the distance, the rhythm, your punch, array of punches, how you how you react to different feints or different movements, different punch combinations, and how they can attack you. The second fight, they got the tape, so now they not only beat you in the first fight, which this fight was like a demolition. This fight was like man down demolition, bulldozer, your favorite dog getting hit by a mat truck, as some people out there said, black fight fan. This was just a total destruction, like total destruction, and we have to see how Earl Spence is going to be able to make an adjustment. Now, I don't believe he's going to be able to make an adjustment, a significant adjustment in what 3 or 4 months. The fight supposed to be in December. So, do I believe he's going to make a distinct adjustment in 3 or 4 months? No, I don't. He needs about 2 or 3 fights to implement his new wrinkles and see how they work on live opponents. Even if he changed a little bit here and there, when he gets into the fight, because it's a thing called your muscle memory. When you do things over and over again, repetitive, uh, it gets into your mind and your muscle memory, which is your brain, which is a muscle. Um, you tend to do the same thing over and over again. Earl Spence, he's used to fighting a certain way. He used to working everything off his jab, either pushing you back to the ropes, working your body, or just breaking you down systematically, just grinding you down because he has a grind down style. He used to muscling, overpowering his opponents. Can't do that with Terrence. Terrence is a sharp counterpuncher. He has a better jab than Errol Spence. When Errol Spence get on the inside, he know how to handle him on the inside. He know how to either tie him up, pivot around him, or counter him off the ropes, which he did in the second round. That's how he got the second round knockdown. My fault, knockdown is because he countered Errol Spence off the ropes. So he has a remedy for everything that Errol Spence does. Um, Errol Spence may come in the fight. You may see a different wrinkle, a different something doing something different, but round one and round two. But as soon as he get hit with something hard, or Terence Crawford start taking the fight over, he's going to do what he normally does. It's called a survival. His mind's going to kick into his muscle memory is going to kick into survival mode, and he's just going to start doing what he normally does. I see this fight ending in 5 or 6, maybe earlier. Terence Crawford seen him already. He's seen his punch. He's seen how he punched. He's seen how he reacts to different things. And if you want to ask me, Terence Crawford didn't even get out of first gear. And from round what 4 or 5, he carried the man. He showed compassion for Errol Spence. He had a lot of respect for Errol Spence. He had a lot of respect for Errol Spence. And a lot of Errol Spence supporters and fans and fanboys, they saying, well, Errol Spence was drained, even though Errol Spence has been fighting at 47 all his career. Been fighting at 47. So all of a sudden now he's drained. Before the fight, y'all was saying he's gonna do this to Terence, he's gonna do this to Terence, he's gonna do that, he's gonna do this. But as soon as the fight concluded, it's oh man, he was weight drained. You got Charlo on $1 million worth of game saying, oh, Errol Spence was drained. So now Terence Crawford is hearing all this stuff. Oh, y'all don't want to give me my credit. Now I want Terence Crawford to put this man on the canvas now this time and keep him on the canvas. You let him get the 1, 2, 10, the 10 count on the canvas because his fans are not going to get the message until he get counted out on the canvas. They are so in shock that I've been on some panels and some people saying they're not going to even watch the fight. They just want to wait till the fight is over and they're going to go look and they're going to see if Terence Crawford, Errol Spence can pull the fight out. That's how badly Terence Crawford beat this man up. They were so invested in Errol Spence winning this fight for over 5 years. Now, how many countless of panels I've been on debating people about the fight, this, and that. And the crazy thing is, nothing they said came to fruition. Like, nothing they said came. He didn't out jab Terence. He didn't outpower. He wasn't the stronger man in the ring. He did not go to the body, tear Terence Crawford body up like y'all said he was going to do. He didn't do none of that stuff. Nothing. So y'all in shock. Y'all still in shock. And you know what I'm saying? Then I was on, Knockout, listen to his live yesterday. And it was guys on there saying that Terence Crawford fans need to, be quiet and, stop talking about it and they bigging up Terence Crawford too much. No, man, no. Y'all gonna get this work. And if Errol Spence cannot win a rematch, y'all gonna really get this work. It's been 5. Y'all think out of 5 years of debating this and y'all talking y'all mess that we should stop talking about it after a month. Nope. I'm not done. I'm not done talking about it. And I'm not Johnny come lately. I didn't come this year, last year, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. 5 years ago, I've been saying this. I'm not Johnny come lately. As a matter of fact, when Terence Crawford when he was still at 135, 140, I was telling people, when he get to 47, they're not gonna be able to deal with him. Oh, he's gonna be too little. All these guys was, oh, he's gonna be too little. I've been on phone calls with guys saying he's gonna be too little. Now Errol Spence is gonna do this to him. I told y'all he has the same dimensions and longer dimensions in arm length than Floyd Mayweather. He's a technician like Floyd Mayweather. He has defense. He's a little taller, a little longer arms. He got more power in both hands than Floyd Mayweather. I said that stuff is going to translate as he move up in weight. So I don't see anything and I said y'all have to catch. I was saying it. Y'all have to catch Terence Crawford when he first comes into the division. If you catch him when he first comes into the division, you have a way better chance of beating him or the fight being a really good fight because his body's not acclimated to the weight yet. Doesn't mean you're going to beat him, but you had a better chance then. This man got into the welterweight division and stopped everything in the welterweight division. Let me say that again. He got in the welterweight division and stopped everything in the welterweight division. And Bomac has been, and his team, and Terence Crawford himself, has been doing homework on Errol Spence since they, probably before they got in the welterweight division, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to wait until you get a fight and say, okay, let's start looking at this guy's fights. You know what I'm saying? Let's start looking at this guy fights and see how he fight. Let's break him down. You're not supposed to wait until then. You supposed to be on it, Derrick James. Derrick James admitted on All Access that no, I don't look at Terence Crawford fights. I didn't start looking at his fights really until we got the fight. Are you serious? Are you serious? A great trainer sees it down the road. I'm not saying Derrick James cannot coach or nothing like that, but for him to not look at the threat, the immediate threat, and once he got into your division, he's an immediate threat right away. Once the man got into your division and beat Jeff Horn, he was an immediate threat. Why didn't you start breaking this man down? Yeah. You're supposed to break down the guys that are in front of you, but Errol Spence have time off to when he's not fighting. You should be looking at Terence Crawford. You know what Bomac was saying? Bomac said in between fights, we were in the gym working on our strategy to face Errol Spence Jr. That he had Terence Crawford in there working on things to defeat Errol Spence Jr. That's a great trainer. And I know Blood. I like Blood. Blood is Blood is my dude on here. But Blood, he said that he don't think Bomac is a great coach or a really good coach because he only has Terence Crawford. He's been with Terence Crawford. He been with Terence Crawford longer than Derrick James been with Errol Spence. Okay, now okay, you're gonna say Bomac, not Bomac. You're gonna say Derrick James got multiple fighters, right? He got Ryan Garcia, which he hasn't done anything with Ryan Garcia yet. He has Anthony Joshua. He won what, 2 fights with Anthony Joshua? I believe it was 2. Anthony Joshua has not regained the heavyweight title yet. And he's with Martin. Martin hasn't won a title yet, but he's doing good with Martin. Really good with Martin. Got him on, got him. I think he started coaching Martin 3 or 4 fights ago, something like that. And he has Errol Spence Jr. And he has Jermell Charlo, who Jermell Charlo is undisputed, and Errol Spence Jr. is had 3 belts at welterweight. Even though Jermell Charlo was with Ronnie Shields and he was a champion with Ronnie Shields, I believe. So, but nevertheless, nevertheless, he is a really good coach. But Bomac is also a really good coach. Like Bomac knows his stuff, and there's no downside of having a team behind you. A lot of people don't give Bomac a lot of credit because he has 3 other trainers. So that's good. That's 3 other minds. That's 3 other minds looking at different things from different angles, or having a different opinion on what's going on. I remember a trainer by the name of Lou Duva. He had another trainer helping him. I forget the black guy name. I remember his name, but he had him working with him when they had Pernell Whitaker coming at the amateurs. They had Holyfield coming at the amateurs. They had the other fighter. I forgot his name. He had 1 gold. All these guys won gold, by the way. And they had my guy Meldrew Taylor coming at the amateurs. And they had a team. What's wrong with having a team? I don't get it. And Derrick James, I can tell you right now, he got too much on his plate. He was training Anthony Joshua and Errol Spence at the same time, and Frank Martin, because Frank Martin had a fight first, then Errol Spence fought, and then and these guys fought kind of like back to back almost, and then Anthony Joshua fought. So if all three of those guys kind of fought within the same month and a half, they were all training at the same time. How can Derrick James have the ultimate attention on all three of them? And guess who had lackluster performances? Martin, Earl Spence, Joshua, the only one didn't have a lackluster performance. But two out of the three had lackluster performances. Even though Martin won, go back and look at that fight. Go back and look and listen to the corner with Derrick James was in the corner. Go back and look at that fight. He has too much on his plate, and that usually comes when a coach is successful. Everybody want to come to him, but you can't coach everybody. He already had Earl, right, and he had Jermell. Those two right there are highly successful fighters. And then you took on Anthony Joshua, then Frank Martin, then Anthony Joshua, then Ryan Garcia. You should have stopped at Frank Martin, really. Frank Martin, Earl Spence, and Jermell Charlo, that's more than enough. Those three. Then you got Anthony Joshua, high profile fighter, Spence, high profile fighter, Ryan Garcia, high profile fighter. You got all these guys in there, and you cannot. You need a team, my guy. You need a team. But look, that's for him to figure out. If he think he could do it on his own and he don't need a team, so be it. But like I said, in this rematch, I don't see anything changing, man. I really don't. It's really, if Earl Spence had one punch or had really good power, like fight changing power, I would say okay, he can do some different things. But he doesn't have that. He's a grinder, which is going to give Terence Crawford time to settle into the fight, time to time him, time to counter him, time to make him make mistakes, time to walk him into traps. Because when Terence Crawford went to the ropes, he was walking Earl Spence to a trap because he knew what Earl Spence likes to do. He knew that Earl Spence's muscle memory was going to take him to the ropes, was going to follow him to the ropes, and was going to start trying to bang the body. That's why you see Terence Crawford throw the punch before Earl Spence, uh, really almost before Earl Spence released his attack on the body. He threw the punch already. He hit him in between punch. He hit him already because he knew exactly what he was going to do. See, that's called preparation. That's called being prepared for your opponent. That's what that's called. Errol Spence needed to dissect Terence Crawford as much as he could, along with Derrick James, and they still was going to lose the fight because that's just how far more skilled that Terence Crawford is over Errol Spence. And then people say, well, he can win a rematch. People have won rematches. Somebody pointed to Anthony Joshua versus Johnny Louise. Andy Louise, I mean. Yeah, when Andy Louise beat Joshua, Joshua had already knocked Andy Louise down. Joshua made a mistake by fighting mid-range with the guy with the faster hands. That's what his mistake was. Not really understanding Andy Louise's strengths and weaknesses because they took that fight on short notice. And I told y'all, I said, Anthony Joshua I'm not worried about Anthony Joshua coming back in the rematch because people saying, well, Anthony Joshua should not fight him again. He ain't going to beat him. I said, no, he will beat him because Anthony Joshua has a different way that he can fight him. He can fight him from the outside. He's longer. He's taller. He has a really good jab. And I said he's going to do that in the second fight to win the second fight. What'd he do? That's what he did to win the second fight. When Tyson Fury had a draw versus Deontay Wilder, the first fight, I said, okay, in the second fight, I seen enough in this fight. I got Tyson Fury by a stoppage in the second fight. Oh man, you just hating. You hating on Wilder. He ain't gonna. What you mean he gonna knock out Wilder? He can't even punch. I said, if you go back and look at the fight, he hurt Deontay Wilder a couple times in that fight. And he hurt him in the last round when he got knocked down and got up. He ended up hurting Wilder. Why? Coming forward. He found out if I go forward, put this man on his back foot, I can beat him. And that's what he did. So, yes, you can win a rematch, but the fight cannot be one-sided. And then somebody said, well, Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Rockman. Yeah, he got knocked out by Rockman, but he was beating Rockman before he got knocked out. He just made a mistake by pulling back. And I don't know what he was doing, going backwards, and Rockman threw a punch. He underestimated Rockman, and Rockman knocked him out. Guys usually don't get dominated the way Errol Spence got dominated and win a rematch. I'm trying to figure out when it happened. I think I was speaking to a young guy on his TikTok earlier, and he said he pointed to Pacquiao and Marquez when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao. I said, but if you go back and look at that fight was competitive up into the knockout. As a matter of fact, Manny Pacquiao was on his way knocking out Marquez until Marquez set that beautiful trap on him. So if a fight is competitive up until the knockout, or if a great fighter catches another great fighter and happens to knock him out with one punch, okay, you can say, okay, the guy that lost can come back, make an adjustment, and do this and do that. And I asked Errol Spence fans this one question: how is Errol Spence going to get past the jab? Because if he don't get past Terence Crawford jab, he can't do anything. He won't have to deal with that jab. And it wasn't. See, people say, well, he was drained. He looked weak. He didn't look like Earl. When Errol Spence was walking to the ring, people say he was looking high, right? No, he was looking. He wasn't high. He wasn't looking high. He was looking nervous. He was nervous, and this sometimes gets to people. The moment was too big for him. All the weight of the world was on Errol Spence's shoulders because everybody, to a man, I'm not saying people didn't pick Terence Crawford, but people really thought that Errol Spence was going to win the fight, and he felt that they felt like he was going to win the fight, and he had too much pressure. The pressure got to him, and when he got in the ring, when a guy is struggling making weight, it doesn't show up in the first half of the fight. It usually shows up in the second half of the fight. What happened was Terence Crawford came out southpaw. Errol Spence looked confused. He looked very confused. And he did not know how to defend himself versus a southpaw. He didn't know how to attack a southpaw. You can see that he was unsure of himself. He was just throwing punches to keep Terence Crawford up off of him. He wasn't throwing meaningful, well thought out punches. His punches wasn't flowing. It wasn't flowing like water. It wasn't just naturally like flowing. It was, you could see some hesitation on the punches. And Errol Spence was now Terence Crawford was hurting Errol Spence early and often with that jab, which was a power punch because Terence Crawford is a natural right-handed dominant person. When he turns southpaw, his dominant hand is in front. Therefore, Errol Spence is getting hit with power punches right there in his face, right there, boom, 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 which hurt him. You don't have to go down to be hurt. Let me say that again. You don't have to go down to be hurt, but you've seen his legs. His legs were not quite up under him after that first round. You could see that his legs were weakening because he was getting hit by power shots, which he's not used to getting hit by power jabs. No one is used to getting hit by power jabs, man. He was getting hit by stiff, hard jabs. And Terence Crawford was catching his jabs. He wasn't landing a whole lot of jabs. Terence Crawford was catching that stuff. That stuff was grazing off the gloves. I'm not saying none didn't get through, but most of them did not get through. And he was countering him with his jab. And then in the second round, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence was getting hit with the jab so much. In the second round, he just decided to go after him. And I told y'all, if he goes after Terence Crawford like that, he's going to. Told y'all, if he goes after Terence Crawford like that on his front foot, he's going to get stopped. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get knocked down. Because Terence Crawford is a master counter puncher with precision, with power. And I told y'all that. No, if they get in a firefight, I remember Knockout 78 said, if they get into a firefight, I'm definitely got Earl Spence. I said, why would you have the slower, less precise puncher against a guy that's sharper, punch harder, and more precise? Why would you take the other guy and throw a wide punch? The other guy throws wide punches. Why would you take Errol Spence over the guy that throws straight up punches with better precision? That it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make logical sense. And when they got into those exchanges, you seen it. Can exchange with Terence. That's why I said I welcome exchanges with Terence Crawford. I welcome Errol Spence exchanging with Terence Crawford because I know Terence Crawford is going to eat him alive on that. Errol Spence is not a counterpuncher. He's not a guy that wants to punch with you. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't have great timing. Now, doesn't mean that Errol Spence wasn't a great welterweight. Errol Spence was a great welterweight. He did his thing at the welterweight division, right? He just couldn't beat Terence Crawford. And the fact that he lost to Terence Crawford so one-sided, it made it worse. That's what Errol Spence fans cannot comprehend. The one-sidedness of the loss. It was so one-sided that they are still in zombie land. They like the Walking Dead around here. They don't know what to do. Most of them haven't even showed up on panels that I've been on. That I before the fight, all Errol Spence fans was on the panels. All of them was all over the place, all on the panels, talking this, talking that. They don't want to hear this, they don't want to hear that. You crazy, you stupid. Terence is not gonna be able to do this. He's not gonna be able to do that. As soon as the fight was over, what did they do? They skid scattered. They went here to over there, back over here, back up under the bed. I mean, they just went all over the place and just. I guess they'll come back for the rematch, or I guess they're gonna wait to after the rematch. Most of them are gonna wait to after the rematch because if Errol Spence is able to pull off the rematch, they'll be back. If he doesn't pull off the rematch, they're gonna stay in hiding. This guy literally said that he want Errol Spence to win, but he's not gonna look at this fight because after the first fight he couldn't take it no more. I told y'all because I seen like when I was 13 or 14 years old when Mike Tyson said that there was no that God had not yet created a man that can beat him. I believed him, but I was 13, 14 years old then, 12, 13, 14 years old then. So I really didn't, I understood that they were getting hit in boxing and all that stuff, but I really didn't understand boxing like that. But I believed the man, and then when he lost, I was shocked. I mean, the whole house was shocked when Mike Tyson lost. The whole house was shocked when Iron Mike Tyson lost. Like shocked when he lost. We were shocked. So I'm not. I don't put a lot of investment in fighters like that. I just don't. I don't put a whole lot of stock into what I'm saying fighters um, and say well somebody is unbeatable and all that stupid stuff. I don't do that. I don't think Terence is unbeatable. It's just the guys he fighting right now. These guys ain't gonna beat him. You know what I'm saying? These guys ain't gonna. These guys can't mess with him. And come to find out, people say, well, what Tank Davis said that I don't know how long the interview was ago, but he said he will. The guy asked him what would he do with Terence Crawford at welterweight. He said, well, if I touch his chin, he going to sleep, right? Come to find out, Tank Davis was just playing. Tank Davis was playing, y'all. He ain't really he ain't really he don't really want that those problems. He really don't want those problems with he really don't want those problems with Terence Crawford. He was just playing, y'all. Yeah. Tank out here playing. Just like his career. Playing. I'm just playing. I don't believe he was playing because Tank Davis has said stuff about Terence Crawford before. Like he said before the fight, he was doing an interview with this one guy. This one guy was trying to explain to him why Terence Crawford was going to win. He was like, well, he can do all that movement and all that stuff. He said, have you ever heard of a glass shield? Yeah, that's what he got. He got a glass shield. He was talking about his chin. So he was talking about his chin then. So, I mean, but I don't care that he should believe he can beat Terence. He's a fighter. I don't care if he believe he can beat Terence. But when you talking about that you were playing, and we all know you weren't playing, man. Like I said, people want Inoue to come up to fight Tank, but Tank can't fight Terence at 47. But people want Inoue to come up and fight Tank at 35. Go figure. Go figure, man. But yeah, Tank was just playing, y'all. Yeah, Tank out here just playing, y'all. He just like to play. He like to play. He just like to be out here playing. Some people they don't. Some people take it serious because he seen the heat that was coming his way. He seen that Terrence said, "Okay, shoot, you want to touch my chin? Come on, that'll be great. Come up here, and that'll be great." But in the end, Tank was only playing, so I'm gonna leave Tank alone because he was he's just playing, man. He finna fight. I believe he's gonna fight. Uh, what's the guy name? Shoot, what's that guy name he fought before? I guess he finna fight him again. So like I said, Tank, they better fight that boy Shakur Stevenson now, man. In about another year and a half, maybe 2 years, when I think they gonna be planning on fighting them then or talking about fighting them then, it's gonna be too late, man. Right now, I got Shakur by decision. But if they wait 2 years, Shakur can possibly stop this man. His man strength, his will be there. His will probably add to a little bit more of it, more punching power. Like you don't have to be a devastating puncher to knock somebody out, man. Those precision punchers, they know how to hit you in the right spot. You can go. They hit you in the right, you gonna go. I don't care how good you say somebody's chin is, his iron is this, is that. Yeah, Margarito had an iron chin and he got stopped by Shane Mosley. Yeah, everybody have an iron chin until you don't have an iron chin. You have an iron chin until you don't have one. So yeah, Tank. Yeah, just keep playing. Just play like you play with your career. Just keep on playing. You just out here playing. Tank, you just playing, man. Just keep playing. But Devin Haney and Regis is supposed to fight, right? So I think it's December 11th, something like that. I think I seen a December 11th date for that fight. I'm not counting Regis out. People are looking at Regis like he a bum or something. Regis can fight. Regis lost one fight. He lost one fight to a guy that became undisputed at 140. And then Regis came back and won a share of the title after Josh Taylor had got stripped. Regis came back and won a piece of the title again. Regis is not a bum. People saying, well, Devin Haney fighting Regis. He fighting Regis Prograis is a guy that holds his own, man. Well, he may not have looked great in his last fight. Well, Devin Haney didn't look great in his last fight either. Devin Haney didn't look great in his last fight. So they both look about the same. They both got the win, and they both looked about the same. The only thing is, Devin Haney fought, in my opinion, a better fighter. But Devin Haney said he's gonna go in there. I'm gonna outclass him. I'm coming to beat him up. I'm coming to retire him. He didn't do it. He had barely escaped with his titles. So this is a 50-50 fight for me. I do a breakdown of the fight, in about another couple weeks. But this is a 50-50 fight, man. I don't understand why people, not respecting Regis. It's like it's like this man is a tune-up fight for Devin Haney or something. It's a dangerous fight with Devin Haney. Devin Haney coming to 140. It's a dangerous fight for that man. And Regis has power. Regis has quickness. Regis is gonna be up for this fight. Regis show up for his big fights. That Josh Taylor fight was really close. Go look at it. That was a really close fight. That fight could have went either way. You ain't see Josh Taylor get that man a rematch, did you? That fight could have went either way. But I don't know, man. People look at Regis like this man ain't, what I'm saying, worth his salt. Like I said, this man got one loss to a guy that became undisputed, man. In the same way with T.O. People looking at T.O. like T.O. got one of the best resumes out there. Teofimo Lopez got one of the best resumes out there, man. I'm not saying I'm not saying that Tank Davis can't fight, but his resume is least to be desired, man. If Devin if To retire and Tank Davis retire right now and don't fight again, To got a better legacy than Tank Davis, man. Now you can be all in your feelings all you want, but he will have a better legacy. The man beat the guy that was undisputed at 140. The only reason why he's not undisputed at 140 is because Josh Taylor got stripped. Josh Taylor never lost the titles in the ring. He just got stripped. So he beat the Ring Magazine guy. He beat the Ring Magazine guy at 135 in Lomachenko. So this guy, man, has a legacy, man. And they talking about To going to 47. Like I said, To can fight, man. Say what y'all want to say about Teofimo Lopez. That man can fight. He's very dangerous. He's the one that people not really talking about because he can come in here and just upset a lot of this apple card stuff. Because the man can fight. The man got counterpunch ability. The man is fast. The man is quick twitch muscles. The man can move. The man got power. He got power in both hands. He also got power in both hands. He's a very good counterpuncher, very sharp counterpuncher with power. So if he wished to fight let's just say he wished to fight Shakur Stevenson at one, I don't think he's gonna fight at 135. I don't think he's gonna come back to 135. Let's just say if they was at 140, he fought Shakur Stevenson. That would be a tough fight for Shakur Stevenson, man. That would be a tough fight for Shakur Stevenson. Really tough. That fight would be tougher than the Tank fight. That fight would be tougher than the Tank Davis fight. I'm saying it. But let me know, man, what y'all think, man. What y'all think about the rematch, man. Leave a comment in the comment section. Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, part two. Unfortunately, we got to see it again. I don't want to see it again. I really don't want to see it again. I know what's going to happen. I don't want to see it again. Terence Crawford gonna come in more motivated in the first fight because he's hearing now. Earl Spence hasn't made any excuses, but everybody else making excuses. Derek James, Charlo, all his fans, even Steven Espinosa, they all making excuses. They all making excuses. This, that, the weight, this. That's on him if he felt like if he didn't make the weight and the weight messed with him or whatever. That's on Earl Spence. That's on Earl Spence and his team. That's what I'm saying. Not being prepared. Just not like. Well, I'm not gonna say they didn't have a game plan, but I'm gonna say they didn't have a game plan because they didn't switch anything up. They didn't make no adjustments. So if you didn't make no adjustments, that means you didn't have a game plan coming in. Earl Spence really thought he was bigger and stronger. He really thought he was gonna win with his size. He really did. He really did. They didn't pay attention to this man's skill or nothing. They just thought, I don't care about his. I don't care about his skill. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna bulldoze this man. And when they had that meeting, and Terence Crawford said, when I beat you, they're gonna talk about you as drained. That's happening. He said, I'm gonna make you do the stanky leg. He made you do the stanky leg, Earl. Um, everything he said in that hallway came true. He said, don't try that body stuff. Did he tell you that, Earl? He said, don't try that body stuff. I'm out.